you know what? My life is fucking miserable. I hate my fucking life. I hate it. Yeah, I stream for rent money. I don't like streaming. I don't like any of the games I play. I am fucking depressed and fucking miserable. I don't sleep. I eat like shit. I have no friends, no social life, and I'm fucking miserable. There it is.
Hello, welcome back to Cafe Belmont. My name is James Belmont. Thank you for joining me. As mentioned in the title, the topic of discussion is male loneliness. The objective of this video is to define what loneliness is, how it applies to males specifically, to solve the issues that come with it, so that you as an individual can improve your lives with this information, whether you're male or female. Let us start with something simple to guide this conversation. What is the definition of loneliness? More specific to this topic, I think it means a feeling of isolation from society and also feeling as if you're not good enough to be a part of it in the first place. According to Psychology Today, loneliness is a state of distress or discomfort that results when one perceives a gap between one's desires for social connection and actual experiences of it. I am inclined to agree with this definition because loneliness to me is a disconnect, isolation, and the feeling like you're always being left out of everything. But how does this connect to men specifically? This is something I had to think about when I was making this video. From what I have observed, this became a problem within the last 3 to 4 years. As a result, I concluded that there are a couple factors that contribute to male loneliness today. Contributing factor number 1. The first one being the pandemic. I cannot speak for everybody, but I would imagine the pandemic was a very difficult thing that a lot of people went through. When it comes to men, it was particularly difficult because we tend not to maintain relationships as well as our female counterparts. We are less inclined to reach out because we do not want to come off as needy. As boys, we grew to be self-sufficient and not to rely on outside help at all. There are benefits to being self-reliant and not needing outside entities to thrive. But I do believe you need some form of support, usually in the form of a male friend group who understands your struggles and understands what it means to be a man today. This is why I'm appreciative of my friend group. A short anecdotal story, I met them in the pandemic. We had nothing to do. We played games and listened to music and talked about things like life goals and other stuff as well. It was a blast. Probably the best aspect of that whole period in time. Psychology Today did an article on loneliness as well, male loneliness specifically, and it was also tied to the pandemic as well. Let me read you a portion that stood out to me. Males in our culture tend to rely on opportunistic socializing while engaging in a shared activity. For them, the feeling of needing to actively reach out to others can trigger a shame response about appearing needy. The second factor is intimacy. Dating in 2023 is a very difficult process, to say the least. Saying that is an understatement. Everybody's expectation of what should occur in a relationship varies day to day, and the standards shifts every minute. The men in these spaces are always catching strays because the standards of relationship often revolves around finances and physical attributes. I'll give you this, however. The financial aspect, I believe the man has control over. He can get a job, invest in himself, go to work, invest in stocks. Basically, anything that has to do with finances, he can improve on because has control over that aspect of his life. The physical attributes, to a certain extent, however, he has no control over, his height being a popular one that a lot of relationships require nowadays.
If you ask them the type of man they want, the man doesn't exist. The man doesn't exist. He's 6 feet, 6 figures, 6-pack, makes $500,000 a year, works out every day, has no kids. Realization is that most of these girls are dating the same guy. If you look at that guy is dating 10 of them.
Something I find ironic and a little bit sad. I would see couples on TikTok cuddling, being cute together, And right after that, I would see a man reacting in a comedic way, almost to say, okay, we get it. You're a cute couple. Stop rubbing salt in my wound. But there is some truth behind that. Not to mention the dating apps are horrifically unbalanced, to say the least. This is a very popular option for men because it's easier compared to cold approaching a woman in a bar, for example. The standards that social media dictates are even worse on here because the women have more options than the man. There are more men on these apps than there are women, so not everybody is going to get a chance to play. Matching with a person after 30 days of installing the app, all for it to just die within 2 seconds after you send the second text. That type of rejection leads you down a path of non-conventional sources of intimacy, like OnlyFans or The Hub. This is the reason why OnlyFans is making so much money. It is because men are lonely and lack purpose or structure in their life. They're very, very sad. Let us look at some solutions for this problem. I had a friend once, and I remember this particular point in time where he felt miserable. He had no direction, no structure in his life. He felt his life had no substance or meaning, and it was being wasted. He felt in his soul that he had so much potential, but had nowhere to direct it. John started to get to know himself, what he likes, what he does not like. Using this knowledge, he started to find hobbies and passion projects that interests him. He began to work on them more and more and saw incremental improvements. Slowly, the void in his heart that was ever present started to be filled with the things that he loves. All of that to say, if you have a purpose or a goal or something that you want to achieve with your life, it makes it easier not to think about things that hurt you. The best cure for loneliness is loving yourself to a point where things don't bother you anymore. You completely accept who you are, and the opinions of others can't change that fact about you. Through self-love, you earn something invaluable, which is genuine confidence. The beautiful thing about confidence is that it radiates. It makes it easier to find romantic connections or platonic ones as well in your life. And all previous difficulties are asinine. A root cause of loneliness is feeling inadequate and lacking confidence in yourself. A great start to recovery is building your confidence, or building confidence in yourself rather, and your capabilities as a man. If you look good, you feel good. This applies to the way you dress, the way you treat your body, and the things that you put inside of it. Here is a list of things you could do to improve your confidence. Improving your fashion sense. The way you dress and present yourself says a lot about your character and what you stand for. Sometimes we forget that human beings are visual creatures. We often draw conclusions about a person without even talking to them. So, improving the way you present yourself to the world can boost your confidence and may aid you with connecting with other people. Next, we have exercising. Getting out of the house, moving around, going for a walk. You don't need to go to the gym per se. You could go cycling, you could go running. Compound movements in your bedroom. Just getting your body moving again helps your mental a lot. Smelling good. Having a fragrance that complements your personality goes a long way. Do you remember the feeling you get when you smell something delicious after you come home from a long day of work? That warm feeling, that happiness. Our sense of smell is something that we use every day. And picking a fragrance that matches who you are as a person makes you feel better about yourself and life as a whole. These are just a couple things that you could work on in your life. I'm sure there's a lot more that you could do to improve your standing in society, of course. One of the main focuses of me telling you this is confidence. Confidence can get you into places that you do not belong in. Genuine confidence comes from understanding who you are and accepting the parts of yourself that you don't like and the parts that you love. And the combination of those two things makes you whole again. The feeling of rejection when you're trying to make new connection fades away because at the end of the day, you love yourself more and value your mental health more than another person's opinion of you. Eventually, the pit called loneliness will fade away because you always have somebody beside you, which is yourself. This has been Cafe Belmont. My name is James Belmont. Thank you for joining me. Before I go, tell somebody in your life that you love them, and I will see you soon. Take care.